to play devil's advocate, a lot of people thought CBDCs were going to be a great idea because it would keep people from evading their taxes. It would help, with illicit money laundering, that sort of thing. When did you kind of start to see the dangers?
Yeah. So the way that surveillance is sold to both government actors and ordinary people is crime prevention. We have to have cameras everywhere, watching you, because otherwise how are we going to prevent crime? Or how are we going to catch the perpetrators of crime? It's no different in the financial world. How are we going to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing if every single financial transaction is not monitored and attached to a known identity? So that's what's called AML KYC. This is a banking regulation that really picked up speed in the wake of 9/11. So after 9/11, there was a global push to basically make terrorist financing as difficult as possible by increasing the amount of data that was collected on the holders of every bank account, on every transaction, over a certain amount. And then that amount has been coming down, in real terms ever since. I mean, really ever since the 1970s. The problem with this is that we've been kind of like, the crab or the lobster in a pot of water. Like, you just keep turning up the temperature and it doesn't realize that it's being boiled alive. And so we're pretty much at the point where there is no privacy anymore. Like, everything you do, certainly online, but increasingly offline too, is documented, recorded, stored, and shared with multiple third parties that you never know about, and who don't have to reveal themselves to you. And so, no one's going to come out and say, like, yes, we think it should be easier to finance terrorism. That's like saying, we hate kittens and puppies. So no politician wants to say that. The reality is, though, that this surveillance regime mostly impacts ordinary people who are just going about their daily lives. They're not doing anything wrong. They're not suspected of a crime. They haven't been convicted of a crime. And so there's real Fourth Amendment violations, I would say, underway all the time that are now just accepted. Whereas in the past, the principle of liberty was that the government doesn't have the right to know how much money you have, what you spend your money on, who you associate with, who you meet with, who you talk with. Like, that was considered private information, and the government needed to have a warrant, i.e. probable cause of a crime being underway, in order to request that information from you. That is quite simply no longer the case.
That's terrifying.